Hi Libra, this is Angel Aura Divination, and I'm here to give the sign of Libra their beginning of July 2021 General Tarot and Oracle reading. So I'm using the Energy Oracle cards for this reading. I'm using the Herbal Tarot and I'm using the Cosmic Tarot. So let's just get started with the reading. But before I actually do that, I would love to see you like the video for the free reading that I'm about to give you some predictions for the month of July, as well as a subscribe for the channel so that you can get more videos like this, because I do plan on doing them more. I've actually changed the way that I'm going to do these readings moving forward, where I'm going to start shuffling the decks and pulling the cards before I get into the reading, at least for the time period, because it's more grounding for me and it gives me the ability to see what I need to actually communicate to you, as opposed to making up the story as we go. So let's just get into it. The first card that we have for you from the Energy Oracle is the Door to Value. This is the 31 reducing to a 4. I think at this time you're going to be adding to your own personal value, and this card actually kind of told me in the beginning of the reading that when it comes to the month of July, the focus for you is going to be on the job front, on the work front. You are possibly getting a new job or something like that, right? And the reason why I said that I think you're getting a new job is because you start out this time period, even if it's not just like this month necessarily, because this could expand for multiple months at a time, I'm sure. We have the Knight of Pentacles and the Hermit. You are going to be opening the door to value for yourself. And I actually get the impression with the Hermit that you're going to be spending a lot of time alone. The Hermit talks about that energy of finding your own version of awakening due to spending your time alone. I kind of got the impression with the Knight of Pentacles that you were going to be isolating yourself, and then I kind of asked why. And the Knight of Pentacles was explained with the Cosmic Tarot by the Prince of Cups. The Prince of Cups is the Knight of Cups in this deck. I think that there's going to be a conflict for you in regards to how you actually deal with your emotions versus how you deal with your work obligations and things like that. And the reason why I said conflict is because we have the Three of Swords and the Hermit here. So I think there's going to be a call for you to go towards something or do some things alone. You might even be fighting for your independence against other people around you. The Three of Swords talks about heartbreak though, so this could really be something that really changes your perspective on some of the relationships that you're entertaining for the month of July or moving forward for you, Libra. I thought it was interesting though, because the next two cards that I had out from the Herbal Tarot was the Ten of Swords and the Ace of Swords. So this was basically telling me that you were going to have a new beginning in your thought process and in the mind space for the month of July, and a lot of it was related to this job situation that you're trying to change in your life for yourself, Libra. The Ten of Swords talks about the ending of overthinking, and the Ace of Swords in this context talks about new beginnings when it comes to the way that you communicate about yourself, when it comes to the way that you think about your own journey, and it also could be an offering for a new journey for you in the mental space. You could be learning a lot of things or desiring that moving forward. So I asked for clarity on what this could be about, and we have the Seven of Cups and the Ten of Cups. So there is going to be also a major ending when it comes to the emotional space as well. I think a lot of negativity is going to be pushed out, but the Seven of Cups kind of told me that it was more negative endings, where it's kind of like you've been overemphasizing certain emotional situations, certain emotional relationships and things like that. And the ending of that is going to leave you kind of retching. It's going to leave you kind of mourning over certain things that you kind of thought were going to really pan out for you in this time period that really aren't. The Ten of Cups does talk about emotional fulfillment, but I really saw him, especially because if you look at the way these cards are set up, and this is how they were when they came out on the board. The Seven of Cups, the individual in the Seven of Cups is basically bowing to the Ten of Cups. It's like, I see this desire that I want to go after it, but at the same time, I just can't reach it because there's too much going on in my emotional mind space, and that's really affecting you from reaching your ultimate happiness for this month, even though your perspective on this is going to shift, probably because of your relationship to your emotional relationships and the other situations that appeal to your emotions, as opposed to your workplace situation where you might even be shifting jobs or just putting more emphasis on the stability of the workplace at this time. The next two cards that I had, we have the Five of Pentacles. The Five of Pentacles is talking about the energy of a lack mindset, or possibly, and when I really saw the Five of Pentacles, that talks about a lack mindset. It talks about walking away from situations, and this is really where I got that you were quitting a job or switching a job. But it's also kind of saying here that the energy that I picked up from it it was you are opening the door to value, but you're still not making necessarily the greatest or the grandest choice when it comes to jobs. And so you might just end up, my guides literally said you might end up on your ass, but I'm saying that it's going to be difficult for you to land on your feet if you don't get out of the emotional space when it comes to the jobs that you have, the situations that you entertain in regards to your material abundance. And the reason why I said that it's going to be difficult for you to make decisions is because we have the Two of Pentacles to explain the Five of Pentacles. And so that's basically saying, you know, you are going to be in some form of a lack space. You're going to be in a place of lack, or possibly even in a mindset of lack. And that's going to be further exacerbated by your inability to make proper choices based on, you know, basically a slowness to actually prioritize certain things over certain other things, which means to me, in context of the reading, that you were really putting your emotions over your stability, point blank. And that was changing the way that you see yourself, and that's fine. But at the same time, it might affect you negatively, where you're going to start chasing emotional highs as opposed to actually going for material abundance that might be required or necessary, ultimately resulting in you possibly losing out on money or the possibility of more stability in the long run of your life. The next energy oracle card that I had was the Caring Connections. Now, I saw the Caring Connections and I immediately knew that this was about you as an individual, Libra. You are very much focused on your relationships, as we already kind of have talked about. But the Caring Connections is a 14 reducing to a 5. And all this yellow reminded me of the sacral chakra, which made me think that there's going to be major changes in your relationships, for the better or for the worse, both really, because of your a change in your expression of self, a change in your personal concept of identity. And I thought it was interesting because I asked the tarot immediately, so how does that change what's going on for Libra in the month of July? And they gave me the Seven of Pentacles. This is the Seven of Wands. The Seven of Pentacles is a waiting energy, so you might be waiting for this energy to come through, but this might not necessarily happen as fast as you want it to, since I had that slip of the tongue. This is the Seven of Wands, though. They basically said that you're going to be very defensive when it comes to your relationships, possibly external relationships to your romantic relationships, but outside of that, I also just think that you're going to be very defensive in general. And so I said, defensive of what? And we got the Emperor and the Tower. So this could mean a lot of things. I think you're going to be very defensive when people try to control you or try to sway your decisions. I think you're also going to be very defensive of showing people all the mistakes that you made, or how much you actually have, what is a good term for that? How much you have internalized the destruction of the mistakes that have happened in your life, the mishaps that have happened in your life. There has been, or I get the sense that there has been a lot of destruction in your life, and that's caused you in some kind of way to internalize it, and you kind of make it feel like it gives you power with the Emperor here, but at the same time, the destruction is so bad. You know, if this was describing like a sensation or a situation in your life, it's like major devastation on things that you thought were actually going to work out for you. But with the Seven of Wands, it's like you're not going to let it destroy you, but you're also not going to let anybody judge you. And so I said, what are you defending yourself from, or who are you defending yourself from in this energy? And we got the Queen of Wands and the Six of Swords. I think there are people around you right now who are trying to sway you, who are trying to push you into certain situations, or possibly even, you know, well, okay, it's a couple of things. There are powerful individuals that take power in your life and try to take power over you to sway your decisions. Some of these people are here for good, but a lot of them are not, and you're kind of moving away from them with the Six of Swords energy. But when I saw the Queen of Wands come out, I actually heard it's somebody who drives a ship. So this is somebody who is very much in control of the household that they live in. This is somebody who's very much in control of the work situations they're in. This is a strong feminine energy. But beyond that, because we're not really talking about masculine or feminine here, especially because we have the Emperor out here, but I know the majority of the watchers of these videos are female. I actually kind of saw this as somebody who is trying to manifest peace in their own life, but that is kind of coming to the consequence of yours, especially because we have the Seven of Wands basically fighting against the Queen of Wands. It's kind of like you're defending yourself from somebody who tries to take power over you. And I asked, so what is this person's like end goal? What is this person's energy outside of that driving the ship? This person has the Page of Swords or the Princess of Swords from the Cosmic Tarot. This person is still needing to learn a lot of things about the way that you think, the way that you behave, the reason you do the things you do. This person's learning about the relationship between you and them. This person's also learning a lot about themselves due to that relationship. They try to have a higher perspective, especially because you can see the falcon in the picture. But at the same time, I think this person is somewhat limited because of an immature mental space. You know, the person that you're dealing with here in this carrying connections that you're really defending your relationships from seems to be a fire sign. Sagittarius, Aries, or Leo, but that's not necessarily it. It doesn't necessarily matter that much. And that's all I really have for the carrying connections because they wanted me to keep it short. So I think that this is going to be affecting you throughout the month, and this is going to be something that's present in your mind space, but it's not going to be something that's going to be very influential at this time, but it is going to be bubbling under the surface for a lot of you. The next energy oracle card that we got was the Journey card, and the Journey card is a 2. 2 is all about duality. It's also about division, though. So you might be walking away from certain situations, certain relationships that you thought were very important to you, but also you might be understanding the duality of the self a little bit more due to an individualized journey at this time. You might be spending a lot of time on your own, studying about your own spirituality, or really trying to make better choices for yourself as to which way to move forward throughout the month of July, especially towards the end of July, since this is closer to the end of the reading. And I actually did pull one card from the Cosmic Tarot to give me a little bit more information about this, and we had the Prince of Wands. So besides the fact that a lot of the energy that you're taking for the month of July, Libra, is going to be very masculine regardless of gender, you're going to be pushing yourself to really move forward in your own life and being someone who is in control and who takes a lot of power in your own life. I think that you're also going to be really striving towards having a long-term career and trying to develop that for yourself with the Prince of Wands here. You might be focused on connections, but you're not focused on connections in the romantic aspect. And I think that the conflict that you had in the beginning of the reading that I was describing is going to be pushed out by the end of the month, where you're not going to be so conflicted about how to deal with relationships because you know that there's something more important here at this time that you need to be focused on, which ultimately for many of you is going to be career or work. So the first card that I had from the Herbal Tarot for the Journey card, we actually had Justice and we had the Nine of Cups. Now this is a double confirmation for me that's basically saying that, you know, this is part of your karma, is having a stronger sense of self. The Justice card is very similar to what I was describing in the Door to Value, where the way that you see yourself is going to be amplified by a positive emotion. It's going to be amplified by a positive relationship with yourself. You're going to be practicing way more self-love, and this is part of your karma. Even if you have to do it alone, it's part of your karma that you must have to experience that alone to some degree. The Justice card is kind of that saying that it is a lot of karma, and at the same time though, when I said, and this is really in the reading where I said you're going to be spending a lot of time alone, and that was really confirmation for what I was feeling when I saw the Hermit card, but I just didn't get there when I was actually pulling your cards for this reading. But I had further confirmation for the Nine of Cups and Justice, and we have the Eight of Wands and the Fool. So to others around you, you are going to be seeming fairly foolish. You're also going to be rushing into things seemingly, but really it's also about making proper decisions very quickly without needing to process them. I think you're going to be changing the way that you go about your life in a lot of ways moving forward, Libra, because I don't really see like I don't see the Libra energy as described through, you know, my own understanding of astrology as being one that is very good at making quick, fast-paced decisions. But you're going to be having a lot of faith towards the end of the month and really practicing more deeper self-love and pushing yourself to do that at this time because your priorities have shifted. The Fool is really the emphasis on that faith aspect, where you're going to just be kind of walking out blindly, even if it makes you look foolish or seem foolish. The next two cards that we had was the Nine of Pentacles. The Nine of Pentacles was further explained by the Ten of Pentacles. So the Nine of Pentacles in the Journey card really does say that you are going to be having a lot of fortunate breaks, is what they said. They said you're going to be getting a break when it comes to your career path at this time. You know, I think that you are going to be making more money, or that you're going to be finding a new job, possibly even making a hobby into a job, especially if that's something that you're interested in doing. And with the Ten of Pentacles, it's basically saying, you know, that you will make a lot of money from that in the long term. The Pentacles cards, though, would indicate it's going to take a while for you to really reach that energy, but you will be on your way to it. I also saw a relationship here between two very grounded individuals, so you might even be meeting someone or dealing with somebody in the workplace that's going to be very influential on your progress forward in that area of life, even if it's not necessarily a romantic relationship, which I kind of saw as the possibility of that, but I really think it's going to be more of the energy of you being very close friends with somebody, possibly somebody of the opposite sex. And then the last two cards that we had for the reading was the Queen of Swords and this is the Magician. So you are going to be also very much focused on your boundaries, and you're not going to put down your sword. Once you start defending yourself and defending these relationships that you have, or possibly even your relationship to your job, you're still going to sit in that energy and possibly even level it up with the Queen of Swords here, representing the further emphasis on strength. You know, this card also does kind of resonate on a very strong energy of divine femininity, as opposed to the masculinity that was associated with the Seven of Wands when I had it explained in the Cosmic Tarot. But so maybe that you're even defending certain relationships that have fallen apart, actually, now that I see it. But I think you're also utilizing that defensiveness, or your ability to set boundaries with people moving forward, as an asset, as opposed to making it out to be something that's bad. I think in the past, people have kind of pushed you to really release, or to not utilize proper boundaries, because they want you to use you as a resource, but now you're using your ability to set boundaries as a resource. I actually kind of get the impression you're going to be a little bit more forceful moving forward, and that really with the Magician, you are going to continue to manifest your own vision for the future, even if that means, you know, pushing other people or other situations or other aspects of your life to the side. My guides even said doing it at any cost, with the Magician energy being a representation of a very creative force, and the Queen of Swords being a very defensive force. You're basically creating your future, or forging your path ahead by yourself in a very defensive way. You know, the Queen of Swords can be a very loving and compassionate individual when she chooses to be, but at the same time, she's not going to just lower her sword for anybody. You know, she's not going to take down her own personal protection. And at the bottom of the deck, this is the advice that I was going to pull for this reading. We have the Angel of Love. This is a 49, reducing ultimately down to a 4, but also reducing to a 13. I think that the loving energy that you have for yourself is going to be very much emphasized here. I also think that your mind is going to be very focused on love. You might even, they're saying to me, as I'm looking at this card now, they're saying that, you know, when you go through this change of career, or this change of a relationship to career, it's going to change the way that you think of yourself, but also you're going to be very focused on adoration. You want people to praise you, and that's going to be something that stimulates you moving forward. You want people to really appreciate the work that you do, and you want to be praised for the good work that you put in. And there's nothing wrong with that. Your guides are on your side when it comes to that energy, and you're going to be very deep in your spiritual connection to your higher guidance moving forward. Especially due to this mindset change, where you're not really going to be as focused on your relationships or the emotional aspect of your own life. Your guides are still going to continue to push that agenda for you a little bit, and you might even be manifesting further help from them moving forward. But it was a very simple reading. I didn't really see a lot of problems here. I actually just kind of saw that you were very defensive in certain cases, but that it was warranted. I saw that you were really going to be dealing with a lot of mourning of situations that are not necessarily going the way that you wanted them to, but that's not even necessarily a bad energy. And overall, I see a lot of positivity coming from you taking a little bit more of an independent approach to life in general for the month of July. But that's all I have for you, Libra, so I'm not going to hold you any longer. If you got to this point in the reading, I would really appreciate a comment letting me know how this reading resonated for you. Leave a star emoji in the comments as well if you got to this part of the reading. I'd really love to see that as well. Also, like the reading for, you know, the content that I've provided for you, and subscribe if you want more. Thank you so much, Libra. Goodbye.